let me start today's briefing with the event that happened at the People's Democratic Party headquarters today. The opposition coalition wants to salute the People's Democratic Party headquarters staff and NWC members for boldly and courageously resisting the attempt, the failed attempt, to stop the conduct of the National Working Committee meeting that held today. Earlier on today, talks and miscreants, loyal to the Pro-Wike group, which the SAC National Secretary Samuel Anyanwu belongs to, attacked the Secretariat with the intention to stop legitimate members of the National Working Committee of this great party from accessing the venue of the NEC meeting. The talks that attacked the members of the NWC had the one intention to stop the members of the National Working Committee from conducting their weekly meeting. But as God will have it, the members, the staff of the party secretariat joined these courageous members of the National Working Committee to resist these miscreants. And the NWC meeting held today with the active participation of Udo Okeye, the substantive National Secretary of the party, who replaced the sacked and disgraced Samuel Anyanwu. So this has all laid to rest all those noise about who is the authentic secretary of the party. But I must also warn and intimate the public of a well-orchestrated plot by the Pro-Wike group led by Anyanwu to obtain a judgment that will stop PDP permanently from having a national convention, from fielding governorship candidates, from fielding presidential candidates. You can imagine this level of madness, this level of stupidity, aided because our institution seems to be weak. So party members need to be aware. And whatever happens in the court, even if the court say that removal of officers is an internal party affair, we enjoy majority members of NWC today. So NWC meeting will be held immediately and Anyanwu removed again. And since it's an internal party affair, nobody should go to court about it. And I must commend the courageous members of the NWC. Despite all the deniers, they have remained firm. As of today, those who are against the Wike group madness in PDP, in the NWC, is over 15 out of 18 NWC members. So I can beat my chest and that of other party members that we're at a comfortable level. And the path to rescuing the party and recovering the party is almost 80% complete. Court or no court, I can tell party members that we have 15 committed NWC members. So at any given time, they can't carry out any madness in the party again because we enjoy majority. Because these NWC members, who today they are calling stupid and foolish people, have realized the importance and the urgency of standing for history to record them on the right side. So Anyanwu can run from magistrate court to appeal court to wherever he wants to run with his Wike group. But you cannot preside in that NWC when you don't have the majority. So even if you come in with an order from Congo, the NWC members who are 15 out of 18 that have decided to end your mandate will still remove you. But you cannot carry that stupid agenda of Wike in our party any longer. So I salute the staff of the party secretariat for tripping out to fight these talks and to rescue the party and to ensure that our national secretary, alongside other NWC members, our national secretary Dokoyo, entered and presided over that meeting. And we also want to communicate to them the decision and desires of members of that party. That now that you are in firm control and will continue to remain in firm control, it's time to move in and act on behalf of NEC and the National Convention to end this madness by outrightly expelling Nyesom Wike from the party. Nigerians are waiting. There is nothing that will please members of the opposition and friends of the opposition to see you that you throw him to the political dustbin where he belongs to, and reverse all those nonsense and impunities they have conducted in different parts of chapters of our party in the country. And to also ensure that the composition and inauguration of the caretaker for South-South and the convention and the Congress that will come after is carried on, no matter whatever they are talking about. It's time for people to continue to stand firm. We're almost close to the end. And that is why you see more frustration, more ranting, more anger. Because the people are rising. And this is what I've been asking from day one. It's not late. I'm happy to see, and we are happy to see, that NWC members are rising, our governors are rising, staff of the party secretariat are rising to end this madness of political children who have been spoiled and allowed in that sport nature over time without resistance. And let me also, at this juncture, commend one of the shining and humble and courageous member of the opposition family and the governor of Rivers State, Governor Fubara, despite the fact that the whole world knows that the pro-Wike lawmakers lost their seat at the time they decamped. There was sworn affidavit. There was proceeding of their sitting in their hideout, in their quarters. Everybody saw it. Nigerians saw it. But the Supreme Court, in their wisdom, delivered a judgment and said Fubara should recognize these lawmakers who have decamped from the party that were elected. Not everybody will have that, courage, that humility, that spirit of peace and togetherness like Governor Fubara. He surprised most of us. As a Democrat, he accepted that Supreme Court judgment wholeheartedly and started implementing immediately. First, he told the local government chairmen that were elected to step aside in obedience to that judgment. They did. And he commenced the process of paving way for the election. And the RISEC moved in, led by former Justice Enebili, and issued timetable for election to be held on Saturday, August 9th. But like I said before, and like we said before, that the interest of Nyesom Wike is not about election. It's not about peace. It's not about progress. It's about his attitude that he must control the state. And as long as he's not the one controlling the state, nothing should be done. So all these litigations about local government, about assembly members, are all decoys to help him achieve his agenda, which is crisis. Now, election has been fixed for August 9. I want to inform the general public that while Rivers people are preparing for the election that Supreme Court have ordered to be reconducted, the Wike group again is running around looking for injunction to stop the conduct of the election. It's running around like they did before for the House of Assembly to now amend the local government law in the middle of the election to frustrate the election. It's now running around again to now make another law to say that those former chairmen, those Wike chairmen, whose tenure have expired, who have gone into political oblivion, that they should come back, former chairmen, and be superintending over the local government. Look at this whole madness. Look at this whole confusion. So it wasn't about local government election. It wasn't about House of Assembly. He wants to take what does not belong to him, to control the structures of governance. And that is why we have been in this problem. Despite obeying the Supreme Court judgment, despite the RISEC fixing the election, the next thing is to issue ultimatum that the RISEC chairman should come and explain about the former election. The next one is to issue arrest warrant. Stupid actions by errand boys, because the master wants the whole place to be in commotion. Why not go and prepare for election? Now you don't want the election to hold again. But I now want to say this boldly. We have been through this part before. There was an attempt in the middle of the night for the former chairman whose tenure have expired to jump in to take the council. The people resisted it. There was a plan to use the police to steal the election materials the morning of the election. It was resisted. These laws were changed overnight. It was resisted. Try it again. Followers of Nyesom Wike and your paymaster. Try it again. We will go this part again. We will go this part again. If you think that you can change the local government law while the election process is already on, nobody on earth will obey it. The opposition coalition will stand in resistance with that. And we know that our government will stand in resistance with that. The election will go on. Change the law 100 times. We'll go through the same process again. This is 2 years. You vowed that the governor that was elected by the people, that you helped to be elected, cannot govern unless he governs in accordance with your personal dictates. That you remove him in 2 days. This is 2 years. And let me say that boldly, for followers of democracy and lovers of democracy and the people of Rivers. Take it from me and take it from for all of us. Governor Fubara cannot be impeached by Wike and all those his renegade people. He cannot. He cannot. I want you to go to bed knowing that in Fubara you have a soldier for democracy and a respecter of rule of law, who despite being pushed to the wall has stood and continued to preach peace. But they want until he surrenders his kidney for there to be peace, and that will not happen. So we have complied on the issue of local government. They are now trying to obstruct the election. But I want to tell Rivers people, continue your lobbying for the election, continue your consultation, continue your campaign. The election will hold on August 9th as spelled out. They can run again and obtain midnight injunctions. But the election will hold, because that's what Supreme Court asked for. That is what they went to Supreme Court to ask. And now all the relevant notices have been issued. But like I told you, they all want anarchy. Now they don't want the election again. So I want to allow the public and Rivers people to be vigilant again. We did it before. You people did it before. You can do it again. These people have shown they hate you. They want you to starve to death. They want you to die. Those lawmakers, because their paymaster does not want peace, wants anarchy. They cannot be vacuuming democracy and leadership. The state will continue to run and run democratically. So the election will hold. But it's important to alert you that they are running again to the court, looking for injunction to stop a legitimate process that the Supreme Court have ordered. They are running around in their quarters, in their hideout, to amend the local government law in the middle of the election to tell former chairman who left years back to jump through the window to be local government chairman. In which council would they ever enter? The people have taught them the lesson before, and they will teach them again. And again, we salute Governor Fubara for also complying with the last phase of the judgment, which is presentation of budget. And like opposition will keep saying, let us understand that there are people who are born with, crisis character, people who are born with being in an environment where there should be no peace. And Nyesom Wike is one of them. Now the man has now moved again and called House of Assembly members, come to a meeting, let us sit down. Something that if it is Wike, he will not do. But Fubara has done that because he's a better man and continue to be a better man any day, any time. He has called them to a meeting. Let us find solution and move forward. But what did they do? They boycotted the meeting. They were hosting a party in their quarters, in the assembly quarters, and refused to come to the meeting on how to start working together. Because to them, it's not about working together. It's that the one that has the key to the treasury or the state should burn. But the state will not burn. Who are they? The state will not burn. And we can't keep quiet and allow them destabilize that state that belongs to our party. So as a party, we are united and we're in solidarity with the government and people of Rivers State. Now you are called to a meeting on how to move forward. Despite that the man that was calling to a meeting know that you have decamped and lost your seat, but he respected the judgment of the Supreme Court. And you refuse to turn out because there's a man in Abuja who doesn't want you to go. Then the man moves forward to write a letter to you. He writes a letter to you and said, to you, Amewela, he has respected the Supreme Court and recognized you as a speaker. And he writes to you as a presentation of Rivers State 2025 budget to the Rivers State House of Assembly. Please recall my statewide broadcast of 2nd March 2025, in which I express our unreserved commitment to implementing the Supreme Court judgment on the political dispute in Rivers State, as soon as the enrolled judgment orders were served on us. I'm reading the letter Governor Fubara, wrote to the House of Assembly. It was furtherance of this commitment that we initiated the consultative meeting with the Rivers State House of Assembly for the 10th March 2025 to consider all the issues raised by the judgment and agree on the way forward in the best interests of the state. However, this crucial meeting was never held, which was unfortunate. Nevertheless, we have decided to move on to swiftly implement the terms of the judgment as promised, having now been served with the CTC. Consequently, we wish to notify Mr. Speaker of our desire and intention to present the 2025 Rivers State Appropriation Bill to the Rivers State House of Assembly on Wednesday, 12th March 2025 by 10 a.m. Thank you for your kind consideration of my request by the House, and please accept, Mr. Speaker, the assurance of my highest regard. Signed, Similar Fubara, GSSR, Governor of Rivers State. He wrote to them. It was delivered to them. He called the speaker on the phone severally. He did not pick. He still sent him a message about the budget presentation. So to tell you people whose mind is dark, who all they want is anarchy, crisis, and for Rivers innocent people to suffer. The gate was open. Immediately they heard the governor is on the way coming. Somebody called them from and said, lock your gate. Don't receive him. You think you are doing him. The whole world saw you today. The people are situating where the blames will be in the days ahead. That actually Fubara, like we always say, and we all believe in opposition, is not the aggressor. From day one, Nyesom Wike and his group have been the aggressors. And what they are demanding is unthinkable and impossible. And these things, if you remember, every point Fubara has allowed peace to reign. A government was formed. Yes, you help somebody to be elected. You appointed all the commissioners. He asked you even for ordinary commissioner for finance. He has to fight and fight. You took all the commissioners. So Nigerians need to understand who is the problem. Because it's important in what will happen in the days ahead. You took all the commissioners. The man accepted. You had all the local government. He did not deserve them. The man accepted. So Nigerians need to appreciate the depth of love for peace by this man that he keeps on provoking. Today he's calling him a boy because he's not well as he can say any nonsense to anybody. Because people are tolerating it. And the president enabling him and the to call him and a minister to order. And he's on TV and be talking anyhow. You took all the commissioners. You took the House of Assembly. You took all chairmen of all the boards. You appointed all the SAs. The revenue generation that was there when you were, he continued with it. Principal officers you selected. Every appointees you took. The man did not complain. He carries his own projects, you want anything you want. But suddenly that was not enough. You fall out with the man. Who is the problem? When they went to peace accord with the president, even when the terms was unfavorable, the man accepted it. Commissioners that insulted him and left returned back and continued to insult him inside the government. Even though some of us has apprehension that, Mr. President, you brokered this peace and they are breaching it, he kept quiet. And the one that hurts me more, and all of us, is that they said withdraw all the cases in court. Governor Fubara being a man of peace, which is the cause of the problem today. Listen to president. And I want to know what President Tinubu is doing about this now, because he listens to you. He listens to you. He withdrew his case. But your minister, Wike, did not withdraw his case with his people. They continued that case secretly, undefended, and obtained this judgment that led to Supreme Court saying they are freezing local government allocation and the local government election nullification. He listened to you, Mr. President. Don't forget that. Some of us disagreed that that's how democracy and rule of law works. He withdrew his counter affidavit. In respect of your decision and the peace you mediated. In that case, if you don't do anything, you tricked him. And he withdrew his case. And then, the nature of Wike, he continued that case. Disrespecting you, he didn't do anything to that. And that is how that judgment was brought. Even when we know those people are no longer lawmakers. A judgment that was gotten with that deceit of continuing a case that you say should be withdrawn, and he withdrew his own, and parties refused to withdraw and secretly continued with the Attorney General that was working for him that time and obtained a judgment. The same man is about now fully implementing that same judgment. And your minister and his followers are all over the place trying to make it impossible. If you think you make it impossible, Rivers will not work, you're a joker. Rivers will work. And I said it, and we said it. It's not about doing the right thing. It's not about local government election. It's not about budget. It's about the fact that you held a man's neck, pressed him down to the point of death, and the man resisted. And he went for impeachment, which failed. And then suddenly you feel there cannot be any peace until you take back the state. Let Nigerians hear it. Wike is not after democracy and rule of law in Rivers. He wants Fubara's seat. He wants a stooge that will continue his third term. So to him, any path to peace must be frustrated, as Nigerians are seeing now. The same budget you asked for is about being presented. You run away. You are called to come to a meeting. Let's talk man to man as brothers. You told them, don't go. And then all you hear is insult upon insult against anybody who disagrees, inflaming the situation, provoking people, causing tribal divisions. Today you will insult the chief judge of Rivers State because he refused to do your bidding. You will insult the chairman of Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, calling him a corrupt man, a former judge. You appointed him. So you must be crazy to be appointing people who are corrupt then. You appointed him. Because the man told you he cannot be part of those destabilizing this state, he will conduct the local government election, then Enabili is a criminal. And you're saying that on national TV. Because the CJ will not follow you to do those abracadabra, then the CJ is a bad man. And Rivers State Judiciary is the worst corrupt Rivers State in the country. Suddenly, the same place you presided. So it's a foundation you led. He's a boy today because he has refused to be pressed to death. You're asking for commissioner screening. The commissioners were screened with legitimacy. At the time they were screened, there was a relevant judgment and orders of the court that backs the existence of that House of Assembly. It's like you asking, okay, now ask them to go and scrape road that was constructed before with 2024 budget. Ask them to tax the people again and recollect the revenue of 2024. The fuel that were put inside the cars in government house, ask them to go and produce the fuel back. The drugs that you are using in the hospital, ask them to go and reproduce the drugs again. So those were legitimate actions that were taken care of. So you cannot. And that's not part of what the Supreme Court decided. Talk about bringing commissioners for you to screen. Those ones are things that have happened. Are not part of it. And I want to thank the commissioners and RISEC that have gone to court. Let the court interpret it so you can wait. So issuing countless and baseless, 48 hours, 38 hours to reset because you want to frustrate the election will not. The man can appear. There is an ongoing litigation on it. Take it. You don't only respect the court when it suits you. You should respect it generally. Rivers cannot continue to wait for you people in this political madness. They cannot continue. So if we don't take that budget, there will be a way out because civil servants are entitled to be paid their money at the end of the month. Any of them can go to court and the court can issue order for the governor to find a way around it and continue to run the state democratically because the primary responsibility of government is protection of lives and property and welfare of the citizen. And I want everybody to understand, this is not a difficult issue. Where is the genesis of this thing? You ran a presidential primary in 2023. You campaigned vigorously. I give it to you, Wike. You campaigned. But because of this, your attitude, delegates spiritually saw you coming and the havoc you can create for democracy and decency and rejected you in one of the biggest political alliances. They rejected you. You tried. Yes, you tried. But Tambola joined forces with Atiku and they defeated you. Is this what is difficult for you at this age to accept? Is this why you want to leave a legacy of anarchy and crisis? I've advised you as a younger brother. This path leads to destruction. Because people are standing up to resist you. Over time, they indulged you. Now you lost a primary. You wanted VP. You begged for it. You campaigned for it. Some of the committees selected you. There's numerous other committees that worked on the issue of VP. You lost that. Whatever reason that made that Atiku not to take you as a VP, with your attitude and actions today, I think he's right. I think he's very right. Because you lost the presidential primary, you lost the issue of being VP. Most people did not know, and let me say it today. Do you know they went as far as carrying Anya with the National Secretary then to go and keep in Port Harcourt so that he does not sign the list of candidates that emerged in 2023, that presidential, House of Assembly, governors, PDP will not have had candidates in 2023. So that he does not sign it. So that if by the close of midnight, they don't reverse the issue of Okowa and put him as a VP, let the entire PDP say. So you need to understand what Fubara is facing is akin to this whole situation. This is where the genesis started. A man who feels it's either him or no other person, any other person doesn't agree must be destroyed. Anya was taken into hiding. By the time he came to the secretariat and said, oh, let me sign that of House of Rep, party members who got the information held him hostage. He wanted to escape through the door. By now, people don't even have any single candidate. So a group of people who are willing to ensure that there's no candidate at any level, they're very dangerous political people. And we came out from that. Now again, they're all running from one court. All the governors in PDP, when they used to follow you, go to Port Harcourt, Bala Mohammed, they were nice people. They were nice people. But because they disagreed, they said this part is part to anarchy and irresponsible action. Today, Bala Mohammed, you call him idiot, you call Didi idiot, you call all governors of PDP. And I challenge these governors. These guys have insulted the people more than enough. It's time to put a stop to this. Today, the NWC, imagine him calling NWC stupid and idiotic people. The National Working Committee of the party. And also blame NWC for indulging him over the years. But this is the time to apply that force. Expelling him from the party can run to his usual court. But expelling him is a sacred duty. And nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Everybody that does not agree with you cannot be a fool. Today, those who brought you, Odili, you call him names now. How did you become local government chairman? Did you win the election? If not because of Odili. Everybody has Tampata, Odili's wife, you call them names now. Amechi, who put you chief of staff and gave you the platform, you call him names. You insult his family. This is the man's nature. So Fubara is not, he is not the first to experience all these things. So that he has endured him over the years. Everybody. He's the reason why Ayede left our party. He's the reason why Umahi left our party. He went as far as nullifying Umahi's election with their group and insulting the man that he left the party. Same party is destroying today. Who brought Sheriff? He brought Sheriff. Because of his nature. And I keep saying it. And I say without any fear or favor. We know ourselves. You brought Sheriff against every other person's interest in the party. Impose him. You are the one that went to war with Sheriff and nearly destroyed the party. You are the same person who brought Secondus. Each time you keep, politically blackmailing the party, they gave you to Secondus because you want to be president. Which Secondus could have even helped you? You remove Secondus with a high court order. You brought Iyochiayu. Carried him everywhere. The same you with Otom removed him. Today again, when NWC were dancing to your tune, now they have started doing the right thing. You call them stupid because you think you are the only one that has the monopoly to open your mouth and be talking like you're in a beer parlor. But the end, the political end to all this madness is coming. You don't even know the perception Nigerians had about you. And Rivers people, that has gotten to a point that enough is enough. And I will advise the president, you are not the first that he can dance around. There was a time he was kneeling down for Patient Jonathan's wife. This time he kneels down for Odili. There's a time he kneels down for Amechi. You are not the first. You used to call Jonathan almost daddy. He's leeching on you like a parasite to continue to use your political capital to continue to fight his personal war, thereby drawing enemies for you. Mr. President, the political consequences will be borne by you. Because people are rising up and they can see through it. Because you can't have a minister who goes on this political rampage and you sit there. By your silence, it means it's okay for you. You brokered a peace accord, he breached it, he continued his case in court and obtained a judgment at the back of the governor. That same judgment, as bad as it is, the governor is implementing it. He is the one now with his group that is trying to make it impossible. And on TV calling him boy and idiot and everybody. both judges, everybody is insulting everybody. People are not fool. There's nothing he has monopoly of. So that is why this tension can be avoided by advising him. If he thinks there's nothing that can remove Fubara, if that's what is pinching him, getting him frustrated, he should be ready to get more frustrated. That budget, when they finish running, they will receive the budget. At least the whole world have seen that Fubara has implemented the judgment of the Supreme Court. The council chairmen are gone. Election dates have been fixed. Budget is ready. Presentation, the governor has gone after writing the House of Assembly. House of Assembly ran under the bed in their quarters because a master called them from Abuja. And you think the state will continue to wait for you? People of Rivers will continue to wait for you on this insult with those lawmakers? No. The state and the people are taking note. And there will be political consequences for this decision to go to the extent of wanting to bring down your own state, starve the people, and create anarchy. So let me salute very well again the governor for being humble to the extent of ensuring that despite the provocation, he continues to run the wheel of governance. In the last 4 days, the governor has been inaugurating projects. Even as I speak now, the governor is inaugurating the Bori General Hospital. He's only a man of courage. He doesn't define courage by look or by voice or shouting. No, he has it. And every man, I know what I keep telling everybody in Nigeria, every man and every woman have courage. Embedded in them is the ability and the time to summon the courage. That's what matters. He has summoned his own courage. And despite those provocations, he has continued to carry on development, commissioning projects in 5 days. Salaries will be paid. The state will run. Very soon, now that it's over that the House of Assembly, because of the interest of their masters, cannot do their legislative work, they will outlive their usefulness very soon because they will be ignored. And they will stay in that hideout in quarters, issuing ultimatum upon ultimatum until 2027 will come. People are just giving you the leverage to show to the whole world that you are actually the person that is their aggressor. So I want to thank him that despite all these issues, he has continued to remain on that path of seeking for peace. So the local government election process for August 9th is on. And like I said before, I want to inform you that what they are planning now is to obstruct the conduct of the election. And I want justices of the Supreme Court to listen to me also and hear it. You order that the election should be held afresh. RISEC have issued the timetable in line with the timelines as given by Supreme Court. But those who got the judgment are now about to start amending the local government law in the middle of the election. What did they want to achieve? To frustrate the conduct of the election. To achieve what? So that they will now make another law that former local government chairmen whose tenure have expired years ago, that have gone into political oblivion, should come back. That can never happen. The opposition is saying today, that can never happen. That madness can never happen. But it's important Nigerians understand. I thought they wanted a fresh local government election. Here we are. Election process is ongoing. You are issuing a business ultimatum against the RISEC chairman to obstruct the election. Thank God he has gone to court and that has solved that. He's not appearing anywhere. Commissioners that were screened when there was legal backing, you want them to be sacked, they cannot be sacked. So we have to comply with the Supreme Court judgment on the local government election. Comply with the judgment on the budget to the extent that the governor has written with his own handwriting, sent to the House of Assembly, and also appeared. Something that to them they think Fubara cannot do. He has gone to present it, and these boys have run under the bed because a master called them from Abuja said, don't receive it. You're willing to suffer your state, you're willing to suffer Rivers people, and tomorrow, as a House of Assembly member or House of Rep member, you come and seek for vote in Rivers. The same Rivers you want to starve to death. I think Rivers people should start mobilizing. The time has come. They have challenged you people. For the men there that are telling there's nothing in you don't have a boss, it's time to show. Start mobilizing. So that they will understand that when the people gather for somebody, he will not be able to overdo the people. Let me also call on members of the party that there is a plot which is already in motion, which is the same thing we want, to ensure that the People's Democratic Party does not have this year's national convention. They've already filed the suit in court. And also, not only that, to ensure that the party does have a presidential primary. And that is why I'm saluting the members of the National Working Committee, who today are in majority, for deciding to step up and show leadership. That no matter what, if the court say, oh, it is a internal party matter, that is victory for us also. So the NWC meeting should be summoned, and Anyang will remove again. And if Damago does not want to comply, you remove him too, on behalf of the NEC. And they can't go to court because that is what the court have said. Nigerian democracy have never witnessed this kind of abracadabra before. Our courts are dragged into it. Our systems are dragged into it because one man who have been indulged over time, not made any substantial contribution to democracy, except crisis, wants to control a state so that he feels after doing boy for Aswaju in 2031 when he must have destroyed the party, then he will be the only one with the resources and capacity to run as a VP or support somebody, run as a president or support somebody and be a VP. And that is why I must collect rivers like it's a private estate and keep it. That's to say you're a god. This will not work. This whole thing is about somebody's desperation to seize the structures of a state that is not his own. One man. That's why they must pretend to Aswaji like they love him, so that they see if they can get some backings or use the institutions around him to continue to advance their selfish interests. And I want the president to separate this. It's not FCT work. It's a personal agenda. And you're losing mileage every day that is acting on your behalf because that's what people believe. Is that he faces the job you gave him, or he should come into the ring and do politics. Let me say this also very clearly. I have said it before. That the call for the rescreening has no basis in law. And we should await the judgment of the court on it. Because they were screened at the time there was legitimacy backing it. An order of a court is an order of a court. There's some actions. It's just like when you remove a governor, you now ask him, go and scrape out the road you constructed during that your tenure. Is that what you want? Is that possible? It's not possible. So those actions has passed. The governor cannot sack them. That's our position. Our position as opposition. And let me also draw the attention of Nigerians and also the judiciary, because each time they must drag the judiciary into it. Some few days ago, my attention was drawn that a case that me, that is a member of the party, you go and forge documents, one Austin, one people who came from Labour Party, a non-entity, with a native doctor from our place, Tango Dokeke. And there's a woman they put his name, Onyejesi. The last Onyejesi, Agatha we know, is a dead woman. It's not alive. So they forged this document. And then they go to court and said that the court should declare my seat vacant. The precondition for election for House of Rep, belong to a political party, age, and so on and so forth, have been met. The ground for losing seat is if you die, if you resign, if you are recalled by your people, or if you decamp to another political party, then your seat is declared vacant. They that decamped illegally have not even lost their seat. They're obtaining judgment here and there to remain afloat. Then we that is in party, you go and file a matter at the Federal High Court because you think anything can be done with our judiciary, that you should sack me. Now, Nigerians need to take note of this, because I will still come back to this later on, not today, in the days ahead, to speak on it. They secretly filed this matter. They think we don't have our eyes there. And they mentioned a particular judge they wanted. And guess what? Matter was assigned to another judge. Nigerians, I want everybody to pay attention. And I want the chief judge of Federal High Court to also pay attention. And the justices of the court. They filed this matter. And as God will have it, the matter was assigned to Court 8. I think it's the Court of Justice, Wite or something. They say, oh, that judge is going to be stubborn. He will not agree to sack Ikenga, even though we don't have the legal basis. Guess what they did? They didn't know we were following them. They withdrew it. Look at it. They withdrew it. And guess what they did again? When they withdrew it, because it was assigned to a judge who will not do that stupid desire. And it was fired. And guess, I don't know how people become sand these days. It was fired by a senior advocate for that matter, J.J. Usman. that you conduct a kangaroo suspension of somebody in a party by people who are not members of the party, and you go to court and say, declare his seat vacant. In that case, if you want to remove the president, you go to his ward and say, oh, I have removed him from the party, so he comes down as president. Look at the kind of anarchy they think they can force on Nigeria because they think it's possible. And the legal disciplinary committee is no longer doing much of their work. How did J.J. Usman, he filed this, and he was assigned to a judge, and they say the judge is not going to do their bidding. They withdrew it, but we already have a copy. Look at the copy. Then they refiled it again. The same thing, the same number of pages, the same parties, the same lawyer, J.J. Usman, whatever they call him, by Pro-Wike group with them. And with them and one non-entity Austin they are using. They filed it, they withdrew it, because he went to a judge that they did not. Look at how they want to predetermine judgments and others. Because you are fighting Ikenga. You think this whole thing can stop me from speaking out? Are you okay? I was speaking out more boldly even when I was not a lawmaker. And I continue. I'm not defined by power. I'm not like some of them that have no business or second address. These things don't define me. My conscience and my courage defines me at every given point. They fight this thing, the Wike group, to declare my seat vacant with no basis in law. No basis in law. When it was assigned to a judge they did not want, I want Nigeria to be hearing, they withdrew it and secretly defied it again. Same lawyer, same matter, same this thing. And they say it had been assigned to Justice Suleiman. We'll come back to it in the days ahead. I am not scared of this. None of this can change me. None of these things will embolden me on the need to continue to speak for a decent society which will benefit all of us. So we cannot personalize our judiciary. We cannot destroy the political space, burn down all the political parties, drag the name of our judges down because somebody is looking for what does not belong to him, because there's no other way to survive in life. And that's why we must be constituting nuisance. So I want Nigerians to see it. Look at it. The first one has a suit number, Federal High Court CS 281, 2025. The other one, Federal High Court CS 358. Same lawyer, a senior advocate, Usman, or whatever they call him. Because the Wike group want it. They want to declare Ikenga, they want to destroy the name of the judiciary, to now set a precedent that people can go claim in their dream that, oh, they have expelled somebody from a party, then you declare his seat vacant. What kind of legal principle would that be? You have jammed up on this matter. So, let me urge all Nigerians and people of River State. We owe our country and our democracy a duty. And also our governors and NWC members to stand up and ensure that, one, the National Executive Council meeting held as planned, that Anyanwu on no account returns back to the secretariat of our party. And that for the fact that we have over 15 members of NWC out of 18 committed to ending this madness, that if he likes, let him go to Congo and secure an expert order and come back, no problem. But since it's an internal party affair, the party should also remove him because it's a threat to the survival of the party. And also for the NWC as constituted today, to dissolve all those state chapters that were illegally constituted, from Rivers to Imo to Kano to Kasa, to every part of the country, and constitute the executive of the zonal congresses of our party, especially the South-South. And also, to tell Rivers people that your local government election will hold in compliance with the judgment of the Supreme Court, that while the reset led by a man of credible character, Justice Enebili, is doing everything possible to hold the election. The Wike group is doing everything possible to ensure that the election does not hold. And I want also those at Supreme Court, the President and Nigeria, to also note that timetable have been set, preparations have started, but they are now trying to amend the local government law in the middle of the election to scatter it. And I say boldly today that any illegal amendment conducted in this ongoing election, which has started, that amendment is barbash, it will not work, it will not stop the conduct of that election. And that the attempt to, through the back door, bring former local government chairmen who have left years ago through a kangaroo House of Assembly resolution amendment that they should come and stay in office. I know that's what they are. The lawyers are already drafting the amendment clause, but it's dead on arrival. They are not going to step inside that council because their tenure have expired. So if you love democracy in Rivers, support the local government election. But that's not what he wants. And also, which is very important, despite the fact that Mr. President intervened and ordered that all cases should be withdrawn and former appointees returned to their job, it was complied with. But he kept on abusing the man and kept on resigning. And why that is going on also, the man withdrew the case in court as ordered by the executive, the president, which he ought not to have done in the first place. And then the Wike group went at the back and obtained judgment of the Supreme Court that created this problem. But despite that, Fubara has moved ahead to implement that judgment by going to present budget. A gate that was open, as was driving in, they locked the gate and ran under the bed because they called him and said, don't present, they want anarchy. But I tell you today, Rivers people, the governor is courageous. We have confidence in him that the state will continue to run, and that the House of Assembly people, if they continue on this path, will be a forgotten issue. Because the interest of the people is superior and above those personal interests. So I want to thank Nigerians and all lovers of democracy who have stood in defense of our democracy, who has supported that the right thing should be done, and members of our party. And I will recap it all by saying that it's only when good people keep quiet that evil continues to triumph. Rascality continues to triumph. People continue to behave like they're untouchable. And it's also important to know that all of us have courage in us. It's all about ability to summon your courage. This is the moment that we almost summon our courage, not just on Rivers matter, not just on PDP matter, but on issues that will help to advance our democracy. So on that note, I will end by thanking the PDP staff who resisted the talks of the Nyesom and Wike group, who stormed to disrupt NWC meeting to stop the participation. But today we are happy Udoke, the National Secretary, has participated. And we want to announce to our party that we have 15 NWC members out of the 18. They have only 3. So at any given time, no NWC meeting will head except those progressive who want the right thing to be done, vote for it. And in the event that Nyesom returns there, you remove him again because an internal party affair. And I want to thank the governor for, despite all the provocations that he continues to commission projects, I saw the way some people is provoking them and making their body to scratch. But we are proud that you're commissioning projects, doing projects despite the provocation. And we're also proud of you for complying with the Supreme Court judgment on the local government election and on the budget. The whole world and the eyes of everybody in Nigeria is on these boys who are working from Wike. How they move forward determine their future in Rivers State, because the people will rise against them very soon to stop this nonsense. So if they don't want the anger of the people, then they should do the right thing and open that their hard out and receive the budget. There's nothing to hide. So with the budget presentation and the local government election fixed, all is set for the full compliance of the Supreme Court have been achieved. And anybody think that he can destroy the governor or impeach him, Fubara cannot be impeached. I'm just saying it clearly. And Wike knows that. He cannot. So let the president call his minister to order, and that this is coming to a point where the people can no longer take it alone. Because whatever he's doing, people are misinterpreting it that he's doing it for the president. So I thank all of us of democracy, and thanks members of our party, and I urge us to continue to stand firm that victory is very, very close. Thank you, and God bless.